Good morning, Facebook world. I just have a theory, a politically based theory, it's about politics. But anyway, it's more than that. So anyway, there's a lot of talk, at least especially amongst Republicans, and I'd say mostly the world. Honestly, I know that some Democrats must feel the same way. I don't see how they cannot feel this way at this point, but about Biden being senile. Everyone says he's senile. They say he's like, he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't remember how to tie his shoes. He doesn't know what his left and his right are anymore. Things like that, just, if you've seen him and if you have any of the frustrations that I do as far as he and his administration are concerned, then you know where I'm coming from. But anyway, yeah, it's a complete joke. He doesn't have any idea what he's doing, and it's really, really sad. But anyway, here's my theory, and I think I think this is a pretty sound theory. Okay, I'm not just whistling Dixie. Okay, I'm not just out here whistling Dixie. So here's the thing, right? Okay, so think about this. I really want you to think about this. It is not really that much of a thinker. It doesn't take very much effort to think. So think about Star Wars, right? Stick with me. In Star Wars, what do all the Jedis look like, right? What do the Jedis look like? Well, they look fine, right? They're various creatures, species, but they look fine, right? I mean, they're normal people. Like, okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi, dude, beard, hair, Anakin, nice, clean-shaven face, whatever, like normal, right? Normal. Okay, well, let me ask you this. What do the Sith look like? The Sith look messed up, and the prime example of who's the worst one of all, which one looks the worst in this, is Palpatine, of course, right? Palpatine's face is messed up, and of course we all know why his face is messed up, because he got Force light. You know what I'm saying? Him and Mace Windu, it was bad, backfired on his face, and now his face is all freaking disheveled and damaged from what happened. Well, here's the thing. Here's the bigger underlying issue here, okay? And this connects to Biden, so stick with me, because this is a really good one. Here's the thing. When the Jedi use the Force, they never use it for confrontation. They never use it for aggression. They always use it to help others, right? It's always to help others. And it seems to be in the flow of things, right? It's in the flow of nature. It's in the flow of things, right? You know what I mean? It's in the name of justice, and it's not just they don't have to I'm gonna make this happen, and force it out, right? When they use the Force, they use the Force because they pay attention to it and they move with the Force, right? Well, when the Sith use the Force, they use it for power, right? They use it for self-seeking things, self-seeking intentions, and to gain more power, as Palpatine says in Revenge of the Sith. But anyway, I just want you to think about this, because first of all, look at Darth Vader. What does he look like? He's freaking half human, half machine. He's in a suit. He doesn't have any legs, really. He's missing a lot of limbs. He's machine. He's more machine now than man. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting at here. So what I'm trying to say is, the picture I'm trying to paint is, when you do really, really bad things like a Sith would do, using the Force negatively in a really bad way, it deforms you, right? It messes you up. It does stuff to you. I think first of all, it starts in the personality. It starts in the mind, right? It starts in the spirit, in the mind. And but what happens later, it can translate to your body. This is the point I'm making here, okay? It is not just that the reason Biden acts and behaves the way he does is not because he's old. It's not because he's old. It's not because he's out of touch. It's not because of all these things people say. Don't get me wrong, those are contributing factors. But here's the thing. The reason why Biden is the way he is because of the things that he's doing, Now, I want you to think about this, and I want you to hear me on this. It's not just the things he's doing, like the choices he makes. I'm talking about like you have to understand some things about the way the world really works. And you know, I know how that sounds, but here's the thing. Biden does not make his own decisions. He does, but he doesn't. There is an agenda, there's a plan, there are orders he must follow, or he's supposed to follow, right? And if he doesn't, then he's in trouble, right? Because he's not the boss. He's really not the boss. He doesn't think for himself. He's not like President Trump, on the other hand. President Trump does things. He does, well, first of all, he does what's right, but he does, you know what I'm saying? President Trump is not controlled by an evil regime, but Biden is. And what happens when you lie? Everybody knows what happens when you lie too much, right? When you lie too much, it's the little boy who cried wolf. Nobody believes you anymore. And not only that, you lose your credibility. Of course, you lose your credibility, and you get so convoluted in lies. Well, see, the thing with, and I'm not saying all Democrats, but I'm saying, and I don't want to offend anyone, but you know, sometimes the truth really does hurt, and it's unfortunate. I just want you to know my intention is not to hurt people, but the Democrats' strategy and their plan is so evil and conniving that the things that they do, it's like let's just say one of their program ideas is, we're going to give free candy bars to all the kids. We're going to give every kid in America a free candy bar. Well, let me just tell you, you and I know as well as everyone else, that if something like that was to happen, that would not be what it is. It would be so many other things. It would be things in the woodwork. It would be things behind the scenes. It would be, I don't want to just jump to the conclusion that there would be glass in the candy bar. I'm saying that there would be, it would have this evil freaking agenda behind it. It would be about like, well, we're going to try to make kids diabetic, for example, just as an example. So what I'm getting at here is, you know, Biden is controlled. And it's not just that he's controlled, it's that the things that he does and the schemes and the programs that he has to participate on a daily basis, the lies that he engages in on a daily basis, take a toll on you. And you know what it's like when you live in, okay, if you're in denial, your life's going to be really hard, and you're going to have some problems, and you're going to be facing obstacles that you just cannot seem to get past. But the core reason is because you're in denial. But if you're in denial, you're a pathological liar. And I think that the thing is Biden's not necessarily a complete pathological liar. He has to be a pathological liar to some extent, but he's not completely a pathological liar. But he is a liar. He is a liar for sure. He's let's call him a mass liar. And so what happens when you start engaging in all these lies, and then you have power in the world where the things you say, the actions you take, everything you do is so deceiving and so malicious because of the intents, the interwoven intents that are just dark. What happens to the human body? What happens to the human mind when you participate in that? Let's dial it back here and ask, what happens when you sin, right? What happens when you sin? Well, one of the first repercussions of sin is the feeling of sin, feeling bad, of how sin feels. It doesn't feel good. It feels gross, right? It feels so gross. But it can feel worse and worse and worse depending on how bad the sin is and how often you do it, or how much you're doing it, right? The more you do it, the worse it gets. Biden lives in a world where he thinks that he literally does think, I think he does second guess himself. The real him inside comes through, like the good in Darth Vader comes out sometimes, where he realizes, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm doing this. This is ridiculous. I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm going to go out and tell these people this, and they're supposed to believe it. And not only that, but we're going to make them believe it. He has that humanity. His humanity shines through sometimes. But the problem is he is so overwhelmingly consumed by the lies that he not only tells, but engages in and carries out. There are actions that are lies. There are operations that are lies. And you know what's worse than just telling someone a lie is doing something that is a lie. Doing an action, doing, you know what I mean? Like participating in something. Let's just say a governmental program or something, for example, that is a lie. That's a complete lie. You know, it's not what it says it is. It's not doing what it says it's going to do, and it was never intended to do what it's being told. What people are being told it's intended to do. You know what I'm saying? These are dark manipulations. These are lies, and you know. One of the things the devil does is he makes it sound like a lie is not that big of a deal, right? You know, you don't want to make your wife feel bad when she asks you if the dress makes her look fat, so you lie and say she doesn't. That's the way the devil tries to make every lie seem. He tries to make every lie seem like it's not a big deal, but it is. And that's why it's so important to tell the truth and be honest, because you can end up on a path like Joe Biden. You can end up on a path like these people. There are literally people in the world that are causing so many problems right now because, not just because of the lies that they're telling, but that's their action. That's their strategy. Lying is their strategy. Think about that. Like, you know, people argue all the time about who's telling what and who's telling the truth, and oh, we'll never know what the truth is, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. We can figure out what the truth is. We know enough. The thing about the truth is it can cut down and strike down any lie. So pay attention to the truth. Learn what the truth is, and have faith that when you know the truth, even if it's not the whole truth, even if you know some of the truth, some of the truth that you know will help you cut through nonsense. And that's just what I'm saying. The reason Biden is the way he is because of what he is doing, because of what he's involved in. It's horrible. You look at this guy and he's whacked out. His face is whacked out. His mental structure is not well. And it's not because he's old. It's not just because he's senile or this or that. It's because of what he's actually doing. It's because of the lies he's telling. It's because of the network he's engaged in. And that's what happens. And that's why when you see someone like Obama, that's why Obama is such an arch, like, I'm not just like a political person here. I'm not just picking who I don't like and calling them the bad guys, okay? There's a lot more to all of this than what I'm just saying here. And you guys know it. That this is why Obama is such a bad guy. He's not just a bad guy. He is a really, really, really bad guy. He's a really evil, bad guy. He's a liar. And I'm not just going to sit here and like shame people or like try to bring them down. But what I'm saying is Obama has participated in things that so he's done all the things that Biden has done. He's definitely in a different place because Biden, it's like this. It's like, okay, you have to realize here, these people are not just people to live their everyday lives like we live our everyday lives. These people they're honestly pawns in a game, and they are chosen. They are characters in a game, okay? I want you to understand this. If you played a computer game where you had a cast of characters that you picked, and you said, well, Red is going to go here, and then Jeff is going to go here, and so-and-so is going to go here, and they're going to do this. And I'm picking Red because he has this skill and because he does this thing, and therefore I'm going to get him to do this thing. That is what they do. You must understand this. That's why Obama is the person that's why Obama did all the things. That's why they chose him to do the things they chose him for, because of who he is. He's a black guy, but he's not even completely black. He's a black guy. He's Rico Suave. He's Mr. Cool. He's Mr. Hip President. He's Mr. Everything he says, everything he does is cool. There's a reason why they chose that guy to carry out some of the worst possible things this government has ever rolled out. And there's a reason why we have Biden doing the things he does. The reason why Biden does the horrible things that he does is because it really is sad, but Biden compromised himself a long, long time ago. He gave up his soul, part of his soul at least, a long time ago. And that's why, just think about it. Dude, he is the most, it's very sad, but he is an abused pawn. I mean, they all are abused, because when you manipulate someone, you're abusing them. You're not supposed to manipulate people. Well, he's a manipulated pawn, and he's the one that is just doing. He's the greasy, grimy gopher guts. He's the one that gets shoved in any situation to do anything. They don't care. And the reason why he will do it is because he wants, they've already tricked him into thinking that what he is doing is some kind of success. And not only that, but it will translate as some kind of success to him. And you know what? In the saddest kinds of ways, it has been true. Because, and we all know that this is not ultimately what success is, but you can't deny the fact that if it wasn't for Biden doing the things that they've told him to do, his son would have never gotten the money that he got. Biden would have never gotten the money that he got. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys get money. They get money. And it is not for working. It is, you understand this. They do not work for the money they get. They don't work for it. You could call it work, but I'll tell you what it really is. It's selling out. It's sold out slavery. It's whoring yourself out for the purposes of someone else. And that's a horrible thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And these people, I mean, look at these people. Think about the lives of the Ukrainians right now being lost, and ask yourself, use that for the perspective of understanding, you know, just how bad Biden is, just how bad these pawns are. But keep in mind, it's not all the pawns that do all the bad stuff, right? It's who's controlling them. So remember, there's someone behind everything controlling things, right? I mean, look, Biden does not act on his own free will. He doesn't come to his own conclusions on his own, right? He doesn't make none of this was ever Biden's idea. First of all, here's the sad part. First of all, he's not that smart. Second of all, before he compromised his soul years and years ago for these pursuits, for these powers, these evil powers he's working for, he may have been smart enough, but he's not. And because of the things that he's done, it's damaged him. It seriously has damaged him. It's damaged his self-esteem. It's damaged his mind. It's damaged his strength, his honor. He has no honor. The only honor he could ever regain is by doing the right thing. Throwing the emperor down the tunnel like Darth Vader. Finally choosing the right. Choose the right. And, you know, that's what it's really about here. So I just wanted to put that in perspective, you know. And lastly, I wanted to say that everybody knows, and I mean, here's the thing, not everybody wants to admit this, but it's true. If President Trump was still the president, which he technically, here's the thing, he is the president, okay? He won the election, but we have this entire sham over everything. And the future will tell. We'll see what happens in the future. But I'll tell you one thing, darkness comes to light, right? The truth comes out. But if President Trump was still the president, Russia would not be doing this right now. They would not be attacking the Ukraine. You have to understand this. Like, the people that control Biden and all the pawns that they control orchestrated this. They wanted this to happen. The New World Order, let's call them. They wanted this to happen. Putin and Russia are not they're not a part of the New World Order. And so the New World Order was like, you know, obviously, they're like, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to trick Russia into joining them so badly, but Russia's just like, no, we're not going to do that. And so now what they've done is they're like, okay, well, you're not going to join us? Well, we're going to mess with you. We're going to mess with you, and we're going to mess with you so bad that you're not going to have a choice but to do what we want you to do. It's like they're being goaded into a fight. Now, I know Putin chose to initiate this war with Ukraine, but they've been goaded into a fight. It's not good, but I'm telling you what's happening. And so anyway, if President Trump was still president, this war with Ukraine would have never happened, not in a million years. And just like, I don't know if any of you guys seen the CPAC with Trump. I just listened to some of it last night. He's the first president, he's the only president in the 20th century, 20th or 21st, whichever, to have not had in his presidency, Russia never attacked anyone. You know what I'm saying? And all these other presidencies, all Russia has attacked people, and there's been wars. So, you know what I'm saying? If President Trump was still president, then Russia would have never attacked Ukraine. They would never have done it. And you know, we had someone who could keep Putin at bay, and that's why the Democrats and all the evil people hated him so much, because they were like, well, that's not fair. We don't want to keep Putin at bay. We want him to do what we want him to do. And that's why they were so frustrated by Trump's doing the right thing and handling Putin. And that's why they tried to frame him as a Russian conspirator. So, you know, there you go.